from Norton High School in Norton, Massachusetts. It is the 2016 Norton Lancers Boys Basketball Banquet. I am Peter Wiggins, and we're here tonight to celebrate the 2015-16 Norton Lancers Boys Basketball team that's being honored in a banquet tonight. And parents and students and fans, including yours truly, are enjoying some food as we wait for Coach Curley. As we wait for Coach Liberatore to speak in the podium, and here's Coach Mark Liberatore.
Just a little overview about how the awards kind of work. I think when you get everything else, that's the most important thing, so we can all review this later on tonight on YouTube and make sure we get everything done. I'm just going to say some general remarks and thank yous, and then each of the coaches at all three levels, I will say some general remarks about their season, and then also give some coaches awards out. On the varsity end, we also have these school awards that we now give to our individual banquets, although, who knows, we may be having a banquet in the spring, once again, in the late spring, but we'll give out the individual awards, much like we did last year again here tonight. Some thank yous first, to all the parents who helped out tonight. I know there was a lot of planning that went into this. I was on most of the email chains about getting people's money to pay and figuring out how many guests. So I know the incredible amount of work that went into that, planning the food. So thank you to them, big thank you to them for making this night possible, for their time and efforts. To the Brown family who spent a good part of the last hour and a half making sure that the video would work over there. I don't know what Med majored in, but instructional technology should have been on that one. Much appreciated to be able to get that done and also be able to help make it work. With Mr. Z, who is our instructional technology specialist, working side by side with you, that's a compliment. So thank you, Meg and Mr. Brown. To the NHS administration who couldn't be here tonight, and when I email and invite them, I'm sort of aware of how many evening nights they have in March. Since March is our sort of big long month without vacations, at least now, they have tons of evening commitments, prior commitments to all the sports banquets. So they try to make a couple, but it is kind of hard on them. So to Mrs. Lafayette, to Mr. Curley, to our trainer Courtney, to Mr. Bayetta, and all the other administrators that supported us this year, thank you to them. And then to our coaching staff, obviously you're going to hear from each one of them, but to Coach Stone and Coach Steve on the freshman level, they continue to just do a tremendous job. They're very, they're like caretakers to those 12 to 13 little freshman players that they have. And they have their own setting down there at DL. They're sort of their own entity. And Coach Johnny and myself don't really have to worry about them too much because they just handled themselves, handled their team, and get a lot out of that freshman experience for our freshman players. So thank you to them. To Coach Jolly, who, he's probably got the hardest job of all of us because he is obviously the head coach of the junior varsity team, but he's also pretty much a full-time assistant for the varsity team. I don't know how he's able to pull off both of those jobs so well, because obviously I lean on him a lot for his advice and support in terms of scouting, and game film review and all that kind of stuff. And he's got his own team to coach too. So for his support, his loyalty, obviously, he bleeds purple, having been a graduate from here and a multiple JFK award winner from here. So again, thank you to him. And then finally to our players on all levels, for the way you carried yourselves and conducted yourselves this year on and off the court. We were the only program to receive the TVL Sportsmanship Award. And that's not just a reflection of the varsity teams and the varsity coaches. Because if we had concerns with the JV team or the freshman team, we would not have won that award. So out of the 10 teams in the TVL, we were the only team to receive that award. And I think that speaks volumes about all players grades 9 through 12 and all coaches who coach the program. So now I'm going to turn over to Coach Stone and Coach Coffey. They're going to make some brief remarks about the freshman team and recognize some of the freshman players. Now we do have a small pool going, and if you didn't get in that yet, then you missed out on the length of Jones' speech. It's a small pool, so we'll see how that goes.
The first thing I want to say is, special thanks out to Michelle Peterson, Sharon Garvin, Karen Brown, and Gwen Babers for putting together this banquet for all of us. Thank you to all the parents for the support on all 3 levels of the team that competed this past winter. My thanks goes out to Coach Steve for another great year. By working together, we made it one to remember for us as coaches, the boys who worked hard day in and day out, and their fans. Thanks to him for keeping me sane and in coaching for one more year. I thank him for letting me have all 9 away game bus rides. You haven't lived until you've been on a bus with this group of boys, so 9 long bus rides. It can only be summed up as nothing but very educational. On a serious note, he's a great guy to work with, and he's a great teacher of the game. Thanks to Travis, my co-coach, my partner in stats, and my friend. I'm sure he will remember this year because he had double duty on the stat sheets at away games when I stayed back in Norton. Thanks to him for his 5 years of coaching the JVs. Coaching JVs is a hard job to do, and he always did it with a cool and calm demeanor as he walked up and down and looked at 14 to 15 players that all wanted to get in the game at the same time. Coach Liv, what can I say? This was his 15th year, and after my 12th year here, there isn't much more that I can say that I haven't already said or that I want to change. He works hard, he prepares hard, he practices hard, and he coaches hard, win or lose. I believe that Coach Steve, Travis, myself, and every player that he ever coached is a better player and a person for knowing him. Now, since that sounds like a eulogy, I'll just stop there.
And you're on the clock.
I'll just say thanks, Coach Liv, for being you and caring about Norton High athletics. My last thank you goes to the freshman team. Cam, Zach, Colin, Bailey, Matt, Kyle, Griffin, Nick, Brian, Jared, Jacob, and Nate. Thanks for a great season, guys. Thanks for all your hard work and practice and at games. Every year on the freshman level, Coach Steve and I try to teach teamwork. I believe that the definition of teamwork is when you enjoy what you're doing and you enjoy who you're doing it with, you become a team and will automatically improve. This held true for this special group of 12 players. At the end of the 18-game schedule, they were a team. The season started out with 3 wins, and then we met Medfield for our first disappointing loss. After that, the team put a string of 6 consecutive wins to finish at 9-1 in their first 10 games as high school players. That's not bad. Game 11 was a double overtime loss to Hopkinton. As a result, Coach Steve, myself, and the team decided that we were going to have a goal to win the last 7 games. We were going to take 1 game at a time. And a real quick story about the janitors down at Yale School. Our boys would get to the door to get in, and this one particular janitor would not let them in if they lost. So he had to have the whole case scenario of why they lost, who they lost to, why they won't lose again. So I guess the last 7 games were very interesting. So what happened? We won the last 7 games, so they obviously got in the gym. We finished the season at 16-2. A couple quick stats. The defense gave up 40 points per game while the offense scored 54. This was one lesson they learned. Good defense leads to a good offense. Coach Steve and I always try to teach the boys to play the right way. This means to play unselfishly, respect each other, respect the coaches, respect the referees, and to fill the role that is given to you by your coach. You can't practice soft and then play hard in a game. In conclusion, I'm proud to have been this team's coach. This whole year has been a pleasure, one that I won't forget. Coach Steve has a few words. And we'll give out the words.
Guys, just like to jump out, quick thank you. Coach Lib, Coach Jolly, and mainly Coach Joan. Thank you for that. Learned a lot with her over the last 2 years. It's been enjoyable. She knows a lot about basketball. She gets them ready in practice, does a great job. She had a great year with you. Last year, I was able to stand up and coach 1 game. And I've improved 2 games this year. I went up 50%, thank you, Joan. 3, I got 3. But with the freshman guys, I want to say, well, thank you to the parents. Great bunch of parents this year. Great kids this year, you guys. I was concerned a little bit, talking to Coach Joan about teamwork, watching the summer program. A lot of good individual players, just didn't seem to gel too well. But right off the bat, you guys started great teamwork, played together well. 16-2, was it?
Yeah.
Great job teamwork-wise. Hopkinton games, you mentioned we went to overtime. Double overtime, right? Double overtime, lost by a few points on a call by a ref that probably shouldn't have been called, but nobody complained. But again, I'm going to bounce off of Coach Lip. We didn't have one problem with one ref all year long. Shows you the character of these guys. The Hopkinton game, they left, got on the bus. I was the last one out, so I had to get over to the varsity game. I'm walking through, I don't know, about 20 parents and all the players, and I just said, hey, what a game to all the parents from Hopkinton. And they had nothing but good stuff to say about the freshman team, which I thought just shows you the character of the whole team. The other thing, what game was it where the kid came in late to the game? He was disabled or challenged?
It was against the midfield.
Is that Ashland?
Ashland.
Whatever game it was, again, it shows you the character of these guys.
I think it was midfield.
Always playing hard. I think there was 30 seconds left, 20 seconds left. There was a free throw. So they put in a kid that had some disabilities. And Joan called a timeout, huddled up, told everybody, hey, let's get the kid the ball. We get the rebound, let's get it over the kid, let's get him the shot. So all I remember is we go down, well, they come down at us. They give the kid the ball, he missed it. Call a Faraday. Kid run through a wall for you 100% of the time. We just called a timeout. He grabs the rebound. What's he do? Off down the court. See you later. We're like, call it. Just told them. They fed the kid 3 or 4 shots. Hit a 3-pointer. I thought it was great to see. You see that on YouTube all the time, or on news, all the time. And it was nice to be a part of one of them. I was just upset at the media to get on TV because they deserved that. That was nice. So we're going to go right into the awards. We had a tough time choosing. We got 4 awards, and we went back and forth on all these kids. And I think any kid could probably get one of these awards the way that they all played. But we had to make some choices. One of the kids, for me, I thought an important award. I had a blast with him. I met him a few years ago, shooting around with the other teams. The kid would run through a wall. I just mentioned him. He would run through a wall for you. He played 100% of the time. He was ready to knock anybody down, which in fact he did a couple of times. But it's basically like a 6-man. When he came off the bench, there were 2 games where he, I think, came off the bench and hit 4 3-pointers. And one of the games he actually won for us because of his 3-point shooting. But his defense was even better, and his hustle was incredible. Colin Perry.
Yeah, Colin!
And we have another award, basically called like Most Improved. This kid did everything. It was tough to take him out of games. One of the games that we did lose, he was on a trip to Disneyland. Sorry, Coach. Double overtime. When we went to Disneyland, he came back and told us it was a couple games. Didn't seem right. Wasn't really shooting the ball. Went in, passed the ball out, gave up a couple layups. At the end of the game, he told Coach Jones, "It's not my job to score, Coach.